but it was interesting for me to talk to someone that's actually down there on the floor in the paddock, to ever find if it actually gets frustrating if you're talking to these guys and they're so media trained and so within their box that you think, just give me the real frigging person right now.
They do. They do. They are entirely real.
Bless you, Yuki.
No, they're entirely real. You know, what I'm not saying in any way is that they're fake or they're disingenuous. They're absolutely not. The reality of who they are, their emotions, their feelings, everything, it pours out of them. Particularly when you're looking at, you know, a post-qualifying interview, a post-race interview. That is raw. That is human. That is inescapable. You know who they are, because that's in the moment. And yes, of course they're media trained. You know, they have to be media trained. But those raw emotions straight out of the car, they're always real. Always real.
So is the media pen, when you get through to that, the quickest, do you think?
Yeah, and I think also in one-on-one interviews as well, there has to be a level of trust that exists that you know, you're not going to throw them under the bus. You're not going to abuse that trust. That you're going to be real with them. And they're my heroes. You know, they always have been my heroes. They do this thing that you wish that you could do, and it's fascinating to get an insight into how they work and how they operate. And yeah, they're incredible. They're incredible people.
You're clearly fascinated by people.
Yeah,
and I'd say people's magic in whatever it is that they do, when they're really good at something, really passionate about something, shines through when you genuinely care that much and find something so fascinating. And I think that is obviously what made Drive to Survive the success it was, and how impactful you become in part of that series, talking about it, because you just get hooked in when you're talking about just then personalities, drivers. How did you find your calling for that? How did that come about? And is that been one of the most favourite things you've done in your career?
Drive to Survive came about as a complete accident, because I didn't know that I was going in to be interviewed. I thought I was going to be the interviewer, because when I was asked to go and sit, I was asked by Sean Bratches, who was running the commercial department in F1. He said, "Well, I need you to go and do some interviews for this Netflix show." I thought, okay, you know, that's what I do. I do the interviews with the drivers. Cool, that'll be great. I know what I'm doing. And then I showed up, and they had the camera pointing at me, and it took me by surprise. And that's why when they started asking me the questions, I was a bit sort of taking my time to answer, because it was, you know, the cogs were kind of turning.